Baker, and I work for the Institute for Voluntary Action Research, and Matt kindly asked me to join you today, partly, or mainly in fact, to listen in on the conversation and hopefully get to know some of you over the course of the day, but also to just say a few words about a new piece of research that's been commissioned by local trusts and is intended to build indeed on some of the conversations that Matt just mentioned at TSRC and so on that have taken place previously. And so this is really me just taking a few minutes of your time to tell you a little bit about that research so that hopefully you are aware how you can contribute, and I hope or want to contribute. There's our Sankofa bird, I'm not sure. Ours has got an egg as well, which is meant to be a kind of symbol of the future, but I think this is probably more expressive of the looking back, reaching back into the past to take what's going to help us to move freely forward. And we talked a lot about that when we were planning what we wanted to do for local trust on this piece of research. So the research is Empowered Communities in the 2020s, that's its name, and it's very much part of a wider piece of work and thinking that local trusts are doing, along with many other organisations, of course, as Matt has already said, about the future of community development, about what supports empowered communities. And some of the money to pay for this, not just our research, which is actually quite a modest, small piece of work, but also the wider endeavour, has come from some of the legacy funding that was made by the Community Development Foundation on its contract. Thank you very much. So we've barely begun. I have no findings to share with you today, although we've already started to have a few interesting conversations. This research runs from about now through to February 2018. These are the research questions that we've been asked to address. Those have been set by local trust, and what will start to happen is that more detailed questions will spin out of those, prompted by the kind of conversations that we'll have today and subsequently. But they are the top line ones. So how can communities become more empowered and vibrant in the next 10 years? How can communities identify and articulate issues and take collective action to address them over the next decade? And what needs to happen to bring about empowered communities? Forgive the language. I know that all of these words can be contested or people can have opinions about them, but they are, we think, good enough for us to start the conversation, and perhaps our language will change as we go along. I just want to say a little bit about how we're approaching the work. I won't go through the list, which was kind of the pitch that we made when we tendered for the work, if I'm honest. But just two things really that I think, one thing from each column that I think are really important. The first one is we want to open up a debate. That's what this is about, and it is about pulling off that trick that Matt expressed really usefully just now, which I'm going to take back to my team, about the kind of the need for a local base to what also needs to be a national conversation, and that's something that we're struggling with and is very important. So it is about opening up a debate, using the small amount of resource that we've been given in this research to create spaces and opportunities to have some of those conversations. And then the other bit, just to emphasise, which we have already touched on, is this business of learning from the past to move freely forward into the future, and how do you kind of pull off that combination. So the structure of the research is quite simple. And the trick is going to be to connect the conversation. So essentially, we called it the dialogues, and it's a series of 3 big dialogues with 3 kinds of groups. If you can flip through to the next one, thank you. So the 3 groups are, it doesn't quite work, but it's a kind of good enough structure to get us through. We thought that there were people either working nationally, but they may be regionally or locally, but they identify with a particular policy issue, a particular type of service provision, or a school of thought, or a particular interest group. rather than place. And so we want to have a series of conversations with those. That might be to do with transport, it might be about housing, health, it may be that they feel there's stuff that they know from international development that they want to bring into our research. So the whole kind of mishmash of people, movement building is in there as well. Then the second kind of broad group are the 4 nations. We want to do work across England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland, not to kind of imagine that we could do some representative study of community development across the UK. We haven't got anything like the capacity to do that. But to make sure that we're looking broadly for where the good stuff is that could be useful to research questions. And then the third category is for communities of place. We are going to go and do some really close work. We've said in 4 communities of place, probably it will end up being a few more and doing it to different degrees of depth, but spending proper lengths of time in a small number of communities, talking with people who do and don't identify with the label of community development. So it's people who work with communities very, very broadly understood. That might be going on to the next level. That might be because they're in the public sector, the voluntary sector or the business sector. They might be being paid, they might not be being paid. They will have different ways of describing what they're doing. So this bottom line are the... Sorry, do you want to just go back? Sorry, I'm just going to summarise. So the 3 dialogues, just to be clear. Dialogues 1 is these kind of mishmash of people working on policy issues, interest groups, nationally, regionally, locally. Second dialogue is in the 4 nations, and the third dialogue is in the 4 communities. We're going to do them sequentially so that we can take questions from what we hear here into the 4 nations and what we hear here into the 4 communities. The trick that we want to pull off, and this is about the local base and the national conversation, is to take points being discussed in the communities of place and in the nations back through the layers, so that we are then perhaps going back to somebody who's talked about transport and community opportunity around transport and challenging them with things that we've picked up in a particular community or in a particular nation. Go forward again. Hopefully I haven't completely confused you at this point. So those are our 3 big categories at the top, and then in each of these dialogues we want to make sure that we're working across sectors, that we're talking to individuals as well as communities, that we're looking online and offline, and that we're thinking about communities of interest and identity as well as place and seeing how they intersect and do that. Thank you. So the last slide then is that I'm here today to listen, as I've said, and to ask for your contributions. We're still working out exactly how people can contribute. There are flyers in the pack. On that flyer, this is important, on that flyer is the email address and the website where you can sign up not to our research in particular, but to the Empowered Communities in the 2020s project in general, which continues quite considerably long after our research is finished. So if you want to be connected into the conversation that the local trust is trying to facilitate, then please do sign up there, and they will then they will then send you a link and connect you to the research as well. I will leave some business cards here as well, so if you want to contact me direct about the research, you are very welcome to do that. There are 3 broad ways to feed in to contribute to the research, but if you have other ideas about how you want to help us to address the research questions, we're very open to that. One of them is direct contribution to the research. We're having to be very honest. It's a modest piece of research. We're trying to get across the UK. We can't do everything and talk to everybody, but we are going to be organising events and sending out surveys and talking to people, and we'll be interested in you participating in that. The second level is what we've called, probably need another name for this, pause and reflect report analysis. At junctures throughout the research, we're going to summarise what we've heard so far and push that back out and say to people, does that make sense? Have you got comments on that? So some people can just simply say, yeah, I'd like to hear those reports, I'd like to receive them, which you can do if you sign up at Local Trust, you'll then get sent, hopefully, an interesting summary of what we've been hearing and be invited to address some questions that fall out of the research so far. And then the third level, and I'm wondering whether something might fall out of today, but I don't want to second guess that, is that we are asked to say to people, if you want to host or connect us to an event of your organisation, forum, network, area, then that would be great, and we can talk to you about what research questions we'd be interested in you addressing with them. So that might be a particular organisation wants to have that conversation with their or group, with their volunteer group or their members, or it might be a big network like yourselves that says, yes, actually we'd like to host a discussion about those research questions. So I'm here for the day. I'm really here in listening mode, and thank you for having me. And do talk to me if you want to think about contributing.